It is July 1941, and the German invasion of the United Soviet Socialist Republics moves along slowly, creepingly slow, as they captured Kiev and split their forces from western Ukraine and Kiev in half. They have also had an easy walk into the southern Ukrainian territory, but apart from that, things move quite slowly for them. This gives an opportunity for the Soviet 74th Army to make an attack into either one of these armies. Seeing as the 91st Army has split itself between Kiev and western Ukraine, perhaps it opens up a door for the Soviet 74th Army to make a move against either one of these ones. Despite the Politburo urging towards the generals of the 74th Army, the general refused to make the attacks, judging that the attack is foolhardy and would make ourselves entirely too weak to even survive the counterattack. Now, that general has been since shot and a new one put in its place, but the new one also seems of the same mindset that perhaps now is not the right time. And so the Politburo looks at the list of remaining generals and thinks, we'll run out of these guys quite quickly, and has decided to lay off and listen to what their generals have to say. So therefore, no attack has been made, will be made in the Ukrainian territory of any significance, and that is the current situation on this front. The Germans have also built up a fortified line behind a river, and Kiev is also behind a river and a city territory as well, meaning that any attack by the 74th Army would be facing some pretty severe odds. In Poland and Belarusian territory, we've seen the territory of Podlachia exchange hands a couple times, with the Russians coming in there, capturing the territory, and the Germans coming in and capturing it from them as well. We can see if we can keep up with this momentum, but perhaps it is not time for this ping-pong championship to extend itself any further. We see in Spain a rough stalemate where both sides build up forces and prepare for potential events occurring in the near future, but nothing as of yet. And then we see in the Soviet Far East that the Japanese have made ventures towards Chita and have captured Mongolian, the eastern part of Mongolia as well, but have not done too well apart from that, and have not captured too many territories worth of money, but 4 IPPs of industrial production points worth of territory. Welcome all to Global War 1936. We are playing Operation Varsity against the veteran as well as the 5-star general. Now, the veteran is an interesting player. I wanted to play a game with him for a bit because he is quite the aggressive player. He likes to move things early, quickly, and with great force, and so therefore he captured France in something like 1938. I believe it was July 1938, as well as moved quickly towards Yugoslavia, Poland, and all the other territories as well. It's been quite interesting. It's one of those games I wanted to play with him as well. It's always fun to play with a unique group of different people to try out different strategies and such as well. And so the veteran hasn't failed me in that. He's made for a very interesting game, although I think his attack into Russia is starting to peter out in strength as both the IPP income of the Russians and the Germans is roughly within spitting distance of each other, and therefore his attack starts to peter out in strength. And I have plenty of strategic depth still before I have to start worrying about places like, like Moscow or Stalingrad or Leningrad. And so that's the situation there. In the Soviet Far East, I'm not too perturbed by this situation. I suspected that perhaps the Japanese would make their moves in here, although I didn't expect them to go the turn they did. But all in all, it's not that bad of a move by the Japanese forces coming into these territories. It kind of makes sense, seeing as we also didn't sign any non-aggression treaty, and so therefore it makes sense to make some moves and capture some IPP worth of territory as well. And capturing 4 industrial production points of territory is not a bad feather in a person's cap. Now, the Axis have all been updated on the map. We see that the Axis have captured Burma, putting pressure on the KMT forces, but we haven't updated any of the Allied units. So honestly, I don't even know what's sitting where at this point. I'm just at this point, myself, the Comintern, and the Allies are strange bedfellows, but nonetheless we are friends, and so therefore I don't feel the need to update their map, seeing as time is somewhat of a premium for myself. But we see the Axis have been maneuvering themselves towards potentially hitting Cairo with a good few units present here. But is it enough that they can overwhelm the Cairo forces? One will have to wait and see. We have seen an exchange of territory being taken, with Sardinia being captured by the British and Malta being captured by the Italians, exchanging islands between the two. One of them was worth IPP, but the other one, I believe, is worth something else. I can't remember. Maybe it was a strategic objective of sorts, but one will have to judge. The convoy raiding war goes something out of par too, with only 1 IPP being lost, and the forces here exchanging 1 submarine lost for 1 American destroyer lost as well. So it's been interesting, to say the least. And now let's dive right into our turn of what we are doing this turn. 47 IPP to spend, 1 anti-aircraft, 10 infantry, 1 airborne, 3 militia, 2 militia upgrades, 1 anti-aircraft gun equals 47 IPP. Let's take a quick look at our technology tree. We're doing all these techs: advanced artillery, improved factories, long-range aircraft, and strategic rockets. We're going to roll this. Strategic rockets is an odd choice, but it's one of our strategic objectives that we want to accomplish at the end of the game, so therefore that is the situation now. Looks like our strategic rockets may have missed, but everything else looks like it might have hit. Let's see what the orange is. Well, we have 10 for advanced artillery, meaning this one moves up. Boom. And so we could remove that dice. Now 8 is our, sorry, that is a 9 is our orange. That one moves up as well to stage 3. Excellent. Our white dice is a 12, so that's a guaranteed success. And lastly, we have a 6 for strategic rockets, but luckily we have a +3 on this one, so we actually do move up to stage 1. Stage 1 on that there chart. So that's quite good news all around, that everything has been moved up 1 stage. The happy benefits of that, of course, is that we finally get some progress. That's after 3 tries, 3 rolls of misses, we've finally succeeded on getting our strategic rockets up. Anyways, moving on from that, we are pretty content with all that tech roll. Now let's see what our combat moves are. We are not going to make any moves in Ukrainian territory. I don't think it's advisable at this point. So we are going to just simply make some moves up here. So we are going to invade Podlachia. We're going to go with 2 infantry. Walking on, an airborne walking on. An air transport's going to fly up to Leningrad and drop off an airborne unit into Podlachia as well. Oopsie daisy. And we're sending in these 2 fighters and a tactical bomber as well into Podlachia as well. And that about does it for our combat moves on the far east. Yes, that about does it over here. Now let's take a, sorry, on the western front. Now on the eastern front, we're going to walk into Qinghai from central Mongolia, capture this territory, and we're going to give it to the CCP and get them kind of on the board. Now the CCP, their turn happens before the Russians, and so therefore it doesn't really matter really what we do here, but it definitely puts a little bit of pressure on the Japanese to decide what do they want to do. Do they want to see the CCP come out in force or not? Now over here, we're going to capture another walk-on into these 2 territories, Western Manchuria and Northern Manchuria. Those should be simple walk-ons. No combat occurs. And we pick up a few bucks over here. Now, of course, they could likely take it back quite quickly if they wanted to, but that is it. So 1, 2, 2 bucks gained to the Japanese, 1 buck lost. I have no idea where they are. Maybe at 38. I don't really know, but we're at 42. I do know that. I've been playing this game incredibly sloppy, but it's only on my own detriment, right? Like, I don't need to keep track of what other people's stuff are. If they make mistakes, I can't keep up with them. So it's mostly just my stuff. I'm making sure my stuff is good and my opponents move for their units are good. But, you know, when it comes to IPP of who's got what where, I'm not too terribly bothered by that. All right, so that is it for combat. We're also going to do some convoy raiding. We're going to convoy raid here in Sea Zone 810 and A5 here as well. And then we're going to convoy raid with our seaplane and our submarine in A13. So let's get to it. Let's roll for our convoy raiding first. So first, the northern line, the northernmost submarine. Red is the attacker, black is the defender. So +2 on that one. So we have 1, 2. We've maxed out that convoy line, and the second submarine doesn't need to roll. But you know what? Let's just roll it for the overshot just in case. I guess that would technically be 3. And we missed on that one, so it's good to get some of the bad luck out of the dice. Okay, the submarine up in, well, what would it be? The Baltic Sea there, whatever it is. So we missed on that one. So this one might actually get by scot-free, as I believe the seaplane doesn't have any rating modifiers. So we'll, there we go. That one's been quite successful. So in the defense, I mean. So we've managed to hit them for just 2 IPPs worth of damage up here on the northern convoy line. The southern one being free of any units. All right, now we do our attacks here into Podlachia. Now, I do have, my opponent did give me a list of how he wants to take his casualties. He said take his artillery off first, 2 of his artillery off first. Let me just double check that here. I believe it was something like 2 artillery first, followed by 2 artillery, 4 infantry, 1 artillery, and then the last infantry. So let's roll for this. His artillery gets to roll first strike. Let's see what the results are. 3 or less, 3 or less. All misses. So good news on our end of things. These are the dice I need to roll. The numbers are listed over here. So the teal is 2, the 3s are blue, the 4, 5, 6s are, you get the idea. I'll go over it in a moment. And let's move these off to the side. And we'll just roll these 5 dice. There's 5 infantry there. Okay, so we see that hold on. Let's just take a look at what the side is first. So 3 hits here. That's quite nice. 3 hits here. 3, 2, and a 1. Now on this side of things, we have our teal. So this one is a 2. That's good news. So we got 1 hit. This is a miss. Miss. We have 1 target selection hit from our tactical bomber. Is it a tactical bomber? Let me just double check what we sent in there. Tactical bomber. Okay. So it's 1 target selection hit, 1 regular hit, and 1 from the fighter. And this is a 7 from, this should be the infantry, the airborne unit coming in at 7. So 3 hits against his 3 hits. Now, we're going to take off the obvious choices. We're going to take off our 3 infantry class units that walked on there. We'll take off our 2 airborne and our infantry. There we go. And we only have 1 unit left over. Now he has to take 3 hits as well. Now our target selection is going to aim for his artillery. And going to take off his 2nd artillery and 1 infantry. Now, should we continue this attack? What do you guys think? We have only 1 cannon fodder unit. We'd expect roughly 2 hits off of him. We're not going to continue the attack. We're going to retreat off of here. And so the exchange, the net exchange is roughly he suffered 2 more hits than we suffered. Now, is that worth it? I don't really know. But nonetheless, that's what we did. So I'm going to just delete all these off the board. Our 2 IPPs lost more than what we lost. Something like that, right? Okay, I guess we can move straight into the non-combat phase. So our infantry retreated back to here, to northern Belarus. We are going to move our... Oh yeah, okay. Let's take a look at what we do down here. So first of all, let's do the Far East. I think that makes the most sense. We're going to move Buryatia unit here up to Chita. This infantry is going to go to Angara from Novosibirsk. Now, over here, we're going to move 4 of these units to eastern Ukraine. So 4 militia from Donetsk, Kuban to eastern Ukraine. We're going to move this Taurida, so from Crimea to Taurida, we're going to move 1 militia. We're going to move from North Caucasus northwards. We're going to move 3 militia to Donetsk, Kuban. From Stalingrad and from Tulalipske, we're going to send 2 infantry, and they're going to arrive over here in Chita. All right, and now we will also, I'm going to organize this as I go as well, because space will be at a premium. From up north here in Orel Kursk, we're going to move these 4 infantry, and a bunch of this, all these infantry as well are going to come in. So that's something like 9 infantry are going to join this in eastern Ukraine. Oopsie daisy. Yeah, this is why it gets very crowded at this point. Yep. All right, we'll just slide them south like this, and then deal with the visual aspect of things a little later on. Okay, I'm going to temporarily move this stack of things out of the way, just so we can see what everything is. This anti-aircraft gun is going to move south to eastern Ukraine as well. Now, we are going to move some units into Orel Kursk. So we're going to move from Tulalipetsky. We're going to send these units to Donetsk, Kuban, those 4 units to Donetsk, Kuban, as well as these 2 infantry. From Saratov, we're going to send to Tulalipetsk 3 militia. We're going to send... We're going to send all these units here. We're going to send 1 infantry to southern Belarus. We're going to send... Yeah. We're going to send 1 militia there. Kind of roughly split our forces in half between those 2 territories. So 2 infantry and 2 militia in both northern Belarus and southern Belarus. That's essentially what we're doing. Yeah. From western Russia, we're going to send to northern Belarus 1 militia as well. Actually, you know what? Because of that, we're going to send 1 more militia down south to southern Belarus. All right, over here we have this stack of units in Kaluga Oblast. They're all going to come down to Orel Kursk. Now, one of the things I forgot to do, which I'll do right now. So from Moscow, we're going to send, one of the things I forgot to do is I'm going to send the 2 light tanks are going to come out of the 74th Army, plus the 3 cavalry, and they're going to come to Orel-Kursk. And we're going to form kind of an offensive army over here, capable of striking forth and dealing some damage against our enemy, but being in a position where we're safe enough to react to things as well. So in Orel-Kursk, we have a few units there. And in Moscow, so I guess I need to park these aircraft. So to Smolensk, we're going to send our tactical bomber, and our 2 fighters are going to land there. And this air transport came to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. We're going to land him in Tula-Lipetsk. And we're going to send 1 airborne unit down to join them here in Tula-Lipetsk. And from Moscow, we still have a couple dudes. We're going to send these 3 guys to Kaluga Oblast. And from Yaroslavl, we're going to send 1 guy south as well. We're also going to move 1 guy from Leningrad, 1 militia from Leningrad south to northern Belarusia. That way, if he decides to make a move with his forces here in Podlachia, then he has to face off with my guys here. Alright, that'll about do it, I think, for all our moves over here. From Karelia to Leningrad, we're going to send 1 militia. And we're going to send 1 infantry north to Karelia. Yeah. That might seem counterintuitive, but hey, we got time to react. Now this fleet over here, we're going to send back to this sea zone. Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to put it in port as well. Am I? Yeah, sure. I'll put these guys in port. I don't think why. There's not too much reason why not. I don't think I'll expect any attack there, and if I do, well, that's life. Okay, those guys are going to go in port. These 2 units stay out here in the water. And that's about it on our side of things. Okay, and we did the other side as well, so now we are on to the place unit phase. So we're going to put our anti-aircraft gun, oopsie daisy. Anti-aircraft gun here in Moscow. We're going to put our... we're not going to put in Moscow. What am I talking about? Orel-Kursk. We're also going to put in, that means 4 infantry are also going to go into Orel-Kursk. There we go. That leaves a few units here left over, so we're going to put 1 in Smolensk. We're going to put, 2 up there. An airborne we will put in Moscow. And an infantry, you know what, we'll probably throw him... We'll probably throw this Moscow unit in Leningrad as well. And these guys are going to go in the far east. So, it does say you can move your militia and then upgrade them. So, this is what this guy is. This Soviet infantry, la-da-da-da-da. He goes here. We're going to place 1 militia here in Chita. We're going to upgrade this militia here in Central Mongolia. So, that gets rid of this guy. Does it? Oh, yeah. There's that. And we'll delete this. And we're also going to put a militia there, so that deletes that. We're going to put 2 infantry down here in Novosibirsk, and we're going to put 1 militia here in Yulisutai. Something like that. We're going to put them there, and that about does it. All our moves are accounted for. Yeah. That'll do, donkey. Alright, guys, I think that is it. I have a niggling feeling I'm forgetting something, but hey, maybe I'm just getting old. 47 bucks. Let's see what our income is here. We are at 42, plus I believe we get $3 for holding on to our capital cities. So that should bring us to 43, Moscow, Leningrad, and Stalingrad. So 45 bucks. So we've only lost $2 from what we had in the previous turn, which kind of makes sense because we lost 1 Mongolian territory plus 1 part of southern Ukraine. So that's the situation there. And, you know what? Haha, that's what it is. Over here. I'm going to roll for... I'm gonna first non-combat move this guy up to Madrid. And then I'm going to roll for... he'll go to Basque Country. Why not? And I'm going to roll for recruitment. So I believe the number is still 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 or less. Right on. Let's see. I have high hopes for this one. Really high hopes. Hey-oh! There we go. Let's put him over here in Madrid. All right. I'm pretty content with that. We'll see what happens from that situation. Yeah, pretty content with that. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been interesting enough to you. I know I find it quite interesting as well. Talk to you later. Cheers.